Up next on Long Island Backstory, we're going to talk to the victims of the family court system here on Long Island. These are horrific stories. You don't want to miss them, and we're going to hear them not from me. We're going to hear them right from the mouths of the people who are experiencing it as they walk out of the courtrooms. Welcome to our first show, Long Island Backstory. The news that the monopoly on Long Island, controlled by Cablevision and Newsday, don't want you to hear. We're here today in front of the Suffolk County Supreme Court and Family Court Complex located in Central Islip. And we're going to talk to people as they come out of the court and ask them their opinions on the system. I'm sure as we talk to people, you'll see a history that everybody that we talk to is going to complain about the problems with the court. Except for that is if we end up asking a lawyer what they think, and they're going to be more than happy with it. Because when we look out into the parking lot over here, we're going to notice that all the lawyers are driving fancy cars, Mercedes, BMWs, all the fancy cars. That's on our backs. So what we're going to do is we're here to expose it, let people tell their story, and let everybody in the public see the horrors of the court system in Suffolk County, New York. So it'll come to no surprise as our viewers that we were here today trying to exercise our constitutional right to freedom of the press. The courthouse itself, the building, is a public area. We just saw News 12 going in there. We saw Newsday going in there. Yet we tried to go in with our press passes and our camera, and we were stopped and told that we can't go in unless we give notice and get permission. This is about after 45 minutes of people asking us what the story specifically was going to be about. I don't think we have to tell them that. We ended up getting this note right here. As you can see, this came from one of the court officers. It says that the decision came from the Chief Judge, Randall Hinrichs, and we need to get his permission in advance if we want to film in the public areas of the courthouse. This is just disgusting. So being that we can't go in, we're going to stand outside the door and we're going to talk to people coming out, and we're going to expose the stories that they don't want us to see. This is where the horror begins. This is the entrance to the Suffolk County Family Court and Supreme Court building. Everybody going in here is in for a bunch of misery. They're in for a world of hurt. They're in for destruction of their families, and we're going to talk to them as they come out. You'll look at everybody's face as they go in. Most of the people aren't going to be smiling. That's because nothing good comes out of this building. Many people have been coming here for 5, 10, some even 15 years, every single month, taking off from work, taking time out of their day to come here into this hellhole. This is the entrance to hell. Hi, how are you? Gary Jacobs. I'm with Long Island Backstory, and we're doing a story on the horrors of family court. What's your name?
I'm Isaac McNair.
And what were you here for today, Isaac?
Me and my wife was going through some troubles. We just got divorced or whatnot. It was a real heartbreak. It cost me a lot of money, a lot of pain, But, that's the way the system is, For sure, they could have, speed everything up, got everything done right there and there. But, I guess everything takes its course.
What's your name?
I'm Amy.
And how long did it take you from start to finish to get divorced?
3 years.
Okay. And do you think there's any problems with the system as far as dragging the family into it and how long it takes to get divorced and how much it actually costs to get divorced here?
Oh, I think it's a major problem, but I think the problem is a lot of the lawyers drag it on. I think they cause a lot of problems. I mean, at least with me and my ex-husband, it became very acrimonious because lawyers started pushing the envelope, and you fight over nonsense after a while. Kids, money. Well, let's just say for what it cost us, we could have put our 3 kids through college and grad school.
Hi, how are you? I'm Gary Jacobs with Long Island Backstory, and we're doing a story on the horrors of family court and divorce. Were you here today for a divorce?
Sir, I've been going through a divorce since 2009. And it's all about money. And the Salomon Law Firm, if anybody's interested, you go to his website, you click on his pictures, and then you go Team Salomon. And if you think this person should be representing people as a lawyer in the state of New York, then there's a problem. Also, Judge Krecker, who is my judge, has just told me that the money, $20,000 that were destined for my child's welfare for Social Security, it doesn't matter. And I don't understand how anybody could say that in a judicial manner or using the law that money can just disappear.
Let me ask this: do you feel that as a father and as a man that you're being treated equally in court, or do you feel there's a bias against men in the court system here?
Absolutely. There is a definite bias against men in the court. That's all a woman has to do is come in and cry or say that you're abusive, you yell at them, or something like that. And it's the only people that are getting by on this are lawyers. It's a cottage industry, and there's a lot of money to be made here.
Actually, that you mentioned that attorney. I understand if you look on his website, there's pictures of him driving Ferraris and fancy cars and women.
He has a Lamborghini, and there's pictures that are very, I would say, colorful, and not exactly pictures that you'd want your family to see or having anybody representing women. It's very, I would say, against women, the pictures that he has.
And how long you said you've been going to this court for? How long?
Since 2009.
And is there any end in sight?
If I pay a whole lot of money, and his legal fees, which according to the divorce decree, it says that you're both responsible for your legal fees. It doesn't say that you will responsible because they sue you that you have to pay his legal fees.
So they're asking you now to pay your ex-wife's legal fees?
Yes, $10,000.
And did you suggest that maybe that comes out of the divorce settlement and she pays her own fees?
She's got over $100,000, plus she got $60,000 from Social Security, which I wrote about, which there is no money in her bank account. My lawyer, President Mildred McAlzac of Farmingdale, went through it and got her bank accounts, and there is no money in the bank accounts. The money was withdrawn. That's $60,000.
Let me ask this, from start to finish, since you've been going, how much would you say this has cost you? And between your attorney's fees, your ex-wife's attorney fees, forensics, law guardians, how much would you say you spent in this courthouse?
I'd say about $80,000, $90,000, possibly even more. I'm 68 years old. I'll be 69 years old, and I do not feel that they're treating me in any way, shape, or form as a parent or as a human being.
What's your name?
Chris,
And what were you here for today in family court?
modification of child support.
I'm assuming that you're not here to modify it in an upward manner.
Yeah, no.
And why do you need to modify it? Is this something that you agreed to originally, or was this something that was ordered by the court?
Something that was ordered by the court on their behalf.
Okay, on their behalf.
Yeah.
And how long have you been paying?
Over a year,
Okay.
and now I'm trying to modify it, disabled, collecting disability, they're taking 75% of it.
Wow. So you're left with 25% of your disability to live on.
Yeah.
Wow, that's unbelievable. Do you feel like as a father, you were treated fairly today in the courthouse?
Absolutely not.
And did you feel like that at the beginning, or is this just because now that you're going in for the downward modification that you feel like they're not being fair to you?
It's the whole time. It's all about the women. It's a women's court. It's a women's world in the courthouse.
And how did it go today with the downward modification?
Just as I expected. Fill out these papers, have them served, come back.
And were you here with an attorney today, or were you representing yourself?
Representing myself. Can't afford an attorney.
I was going to say, left with 25% of your disability, there can't be much left to deal with. What about your ex-wife? Did she come in with attorney, or did the child support unit help her try to get the money from you?
Child support unit helps.
Did you ever ask them for help in defending yourself, or you just here on your own?
I've asked for public assistance, the public defender, but being that they're taking me to court, I'm not entitled to it.
So she's on their behalf. They're fighting to get the money from you. So actually, the taxpayer is paying to have her keep you paying more money that you can't afford.
Pretty much.
Now, let me ask this: with this amount, I'm sure it's hard to live on. What happens if you can't keep up with this amount? Them taking 75%. How are you supposed to live?
I have no idea.
Did you bring that up in court, that you're only left with 25% of your disability, which I would assume that amount you're supposed to live on that amount? Now you're left with 25%. Did you discuss that with the judge today? Did she want to hear your situation and how you're going to live and how you're going to eat?
No, didn't want to hear anything. They just told me to fill out the papers, certify, mail them back to the court and to the mother of the children.
What's your name?
Rashad.
Rashad, what are you here for today?
A family court issue.
And
For my son.
for your son. And were you married to the son's mother?
No.
And do you feel, as a father, that you were treated fairly today?
No, I don't.
And so tell us a little bit about your story. What happened that makes you feel like you weren't treated fairly and equally as you would have to the baby's mother?
Well, first of all, I live with my baby's mother, and I take care of my son, so I don't think that it's fair that I should have to pay child support on top of that.
So you're living with with your son, and the court is ordering you to pay child support.
Yes. Yes.
That doesn't even make sense to me.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me neither.
So who initiated the child support order? Did the baby's mother take you to court for that?
No, actually, social service.
And so they're getting involved in your personal life and making you give money. So you give money from one hand to the other hand.
Yes. Both hands.
That is.
Baby mother and social service now.
So what do you think the reason for this? Do you think it's a money issue that they're trying to social services is trying to get money out of you? How do you explain why this is happening?
Well, I believe they're trying to get me to pay the money back that she owes them. You know, that's my thing of it.
That's just a crazy story. And did you explain to the judge ever that you're living with your child?
Yes. Yes.
And what does the judge say?
She wasn't trying to hear me.
That's just unbelievable. I tell you, the viewers looking at this are going to think that this is just something that's so outrageous that it can't be true. But I'm here to tell you that stories like this happen every day. This is different, but it's just unbelievable that you're living with your child and the baby's mother, and the court is getting involved in your personal life and telling you how much to pay.
Mm-hmm. It's ridiculous.
And do they care where the money goes, or do they just make you pay it to the baby's mother? And
No, I pay it to social service. My baby's mother doesn't see a bit of that money.
so the money doesn't even go to your child.
She hasn't seen any of it.
That's just a crazy story. And has she asked them to leave you alone and to say she's happy with the way things are?
Yeah, she wants to take me off for child support, and they're telling her social service is telling her that she can't.
Wow, that's just an unbelievable story. Well, thank you for telling us the story, and good luck to you. I hope that works out for you. Take care. Bye-bye. Coming up next here on Long Island Backstory, we have JuanPablo Andrade, a fresh face in politics running for the Suffolk County Legislature in the 17th Legislative District.
The danger dog will bite your ankle. The danger dog will bite your ear. The danger dog will bite your bottom if you come near. That's the danger dog. Dog.
Want to feel appreciated? When you spend time with kids, anytime, it helps prevent crime.
Begin! You're mine.
Chicken.
McGruff here. If a bully is bothering you, play it smart and try to talk it out. Or get away and tell an adult.
Well done.
For more tips, write for my new free comic activity book. Play it smart and help take a bite out of crime.
Think being a big brother means you always have to be a perfect role model?
Nice.
Think again. To learn more about becoming a big brother or big sister, call 1-888-412-BIGGS.
My name is Gary Jacobs. Welcome to Long Island Backstory. We're here today in Huntington Town with JuanPablo Andrade, who's running for our Suffolk County Legislature in the 17th Legislative District. This is an issue that is close to my heart, running for politics, and it's really a sore subject that I have. And to get on my soapbox for a minute, I think one of the problems that we have in government, especially here on Long Island, is that we keep reelecting the same people. We keep reelecting career politicians. In some cases, politicians sort of hand the job down to their spouse, to their child. And I really don't feel like there's a broad spectrum. I believe in representative government, a government of the people, by the people, for the people. And what I feel that we have now is a government that's mainly run by attorneys and career politicians. And don't get me wrong, there is a spot in government for attorneys. Because look, we do in government, they make laws. But the average person needs to be represented in government. The person who's struggling to put their child through college, that's struggling to pay their taxes, struggling to pay their mortgage. Unfortunately, the way you get elected is by being involved in politics and going to the system and sucking up to the leaders. And unfortunately, sometimes you have to promise things for other people, or you have a lot of money. So what that does is that takes out a whole section, a whole middle class people in our community that don't get to get represented in government. Let's face it, if you're an attorney charging $700 an hour and they're voting on raising your taxes $10 a week, you say, that's 5 minutes of me talking to somebody. It's not a big deal. To somebody making $40,000, $50,000, you know what? They may not go out to dinner. They may not give their kids money to go to the movies. Our guest here today, JuanPablo Andrade, is one of those middle-class people. He's from a middle-class family, and he'd like to get his life started here on Long Island, but he's struggling because the job market isn't great, and the houses are expensive. And how does he get started? I give him credit because what he's doing is he's saying, you know what? I'm going to change the system, and I'm going to run for office, and I'm going to make a difference, and I will be the voice of those middle-class people here on Long Island.
I feel like the Suffolk County Legislature right now needs a youthful voice in county government. I'm not a career politician. I'm not a lawyer. Like you said, most of the Suffolk County Legislature and even the Nassau County Legislature are made up of lawyers, and on all levels of government, they're made up of lawyers. Most of them are made up of lawyers. I feel like a career politician is what the Suffolk County doesn't need right now. I feel like a career politician would mainly look out for their job. I was the president of the Smithtown Young Republicans Club, chief of youth outreach for the Suffolk County Young Republicans Club. I was the head of constituent services for a legislative office. This is all on a campaign wise. I was one of the head campaigners at the Smithtown Zeldin for Congress office, and I was the Long Island volunteer coordinator for Rob Astorino for governor this past year. I worked in a legislative office for the Suffolk County Legislature for, I would say, 3 years, and I worked a lot with constituent services and working with various county offices to fulfill a constituent's needs or concerns in where they live. See, I don't think it's tough. I don't think it's tough receiving the support of the party. Basically, you have to work hard on both sides of the aisle, both non-politically, which is in the legislative offices, which I have worked hard in, and both on the campaign trail with other successful and non-successful campaigns. Well, I'm trying to get the support of all, not only Republicans, but also Democrats who want to see some people out of office, who don't mind supporting the other side. I'm trying to get the support of many political leaders throughout not just the island, but throughout the state in my race so I can get the word more out there.
As usual.
Well, unfortunately, the county services is sometimes very hard to use, even as an elected official and as elected official aides and legislative aides in their offices. Sometimes it's very hard to get in touch with simple county services, such as the Office of County Aging or the Department of Parks and Services to get something done, or transportation, because sometimes it's very hard to get in touch with them. In the legislature, definitely improve constituent services by improving connection with other county offices, so the county departments and offices can communicate well with the legislature, because the legislature's goals is to serve the constituents of the island. I think that is a great idea. Definitely to have one number to link you to an operator, and whatever need you need, whatever request you need done or something, they can direct you to the proper office that you need to be speaking to. They've done many things, the Suffolk County Police Department, to combat against heroin. But the one big thing that I definitely support that the Suffolk County Police Department has been doing is that they've been adding Community Outreach Bureau police officers to each school district. I think that needs to be the number of the police officers that are assigned to each high school need to be a little higher. But there's a certain number of police officers, at least one or two or three to each high school, that directly communicate on a daily basis with the principals and the assistant principals and the teachers and the staff of the school to combat against drug use, not just drug use, but against fights and any type of problems within the schools. Unfortunately, the schools haven't been doing many programs combating directly against heroin. They've just been doing general, like the DARE program, which got unfortunately discontinued a few years ago, that's just combating against drugs in general. I feel like there should be more programs against heroin use, which is a big, like you said, a huge problem in Long Island, and specifically having them in more school districts to combat against heroin. Well, one of the parts of my campaign platform is to demand more transparency in our government so we could reduce wasteful spending, and that would ultimately reduce the taxes of an average taxpayer. Well, mainly, in my opinion, and I've seen it through statistics, the second precinct, which covers Huntington and the Huntington Station area, which most of the crime comes out of, the second precinct in Suffolk County needs to step up their game. They recently have been cutting their community meetings, which each precinct is supposed to have monthly. The second precinct isn't having many community meetings where all the community members can come to and all discuss the crime issues in their area, which the second precinct hasn't been doing a very good job in. I would increase police presence in the Huntington Station area and the Huntington area where the statistics shows that most crime is coming out of. Well, unfortunately, the legislature doesn't really have a say in the business. It's mostly the state. But I'm going to try my hardest and work my hardest, if elected, to work with people who are trying to start a business, also people who currently have a business while I serve in office. I think we should definitely grow the parks, but not larger in a sense, land-wise, to the parks itself right now. I feel like the county's spending the appropriate amount of money on the parks and the infrastructure of the parks and the environment. And I know for Huntington parks, for private Huntington parks, just for the town, not county parks, but just the town parks, the Huntington residents don't have to pay a fee to get in, but other town residents do. I completely agree with that. I feel like the county should buy a space and make more public parking, especially around Huntington Village, which parking is almost impossible, especially Fridays and on the weekends. It's almost impossible. I feel like the county should open more public parking. I think the entire education system in New York State right now needs to change. I don't agree with Common Core at all. It's basically trying to make the standards a lot higher for a fifth grader or all the way up through high school. It's making it much harder for the students to study and to learn easily. And it's making the teachers' lives even harder also. Yeah, I think it's completely unsafe to have substandardized housing, which is what you just said. Multiple families living in one small house or a big house, multiple. Usually if the house is bigger, there's going to be more families living in it, more people. That just that's proven to increase the crime rating in the area, increases the crime, lowers the property rating, so lowers the price of the houses around it. Sickness. It's a very common, more sickness, especially the more people in one house, the sicker people can get. Well, if people want to get involved in my campaign, they could also, I'm very accessible on Facebook. Most of the people are on Facebook, so you can just message me or my campaign manager, who's Thomas Murdolo. And also, you can just visit my website at andradeforlegislature.com. The 17th legislative district here in Suffolk County, which is most of the part of Huntington, which includes the part of Huntington, Huntington Station, and the town of Babylon. Basically, the border of Northport and Asheroken. Well, they could help me go door to door handing out literature, making phone calls at an office that I'm hopefully going to open up soon. Well, I'm definitely going to need signatures, so for that I'm definitely going to need a good number of volunteers to get signatures for my name even to be on the ballot in November. Well, if I do get elected on November 3rd of this year and get sworn in January 1st of the following year, I think my first big step that I'm going to have to take is prove to my colleagues in the legislature that I'm capable of sitting behind the horseshoe in Hauppauge or in Riverhead, where they also sit, and proving to them that I am capable of being a legislator.
I can listen. I can cook.
Good. I can coach.
Kids with something to do are less likely to do drugs.
I can drive.
I can paint.
I can dance.
A little of your time can make a lifetime of difference.
I can read.
I can help.
You can help. Call toll-free 1-877-KIDS-313 to find out about community drug prevention programs.
I can keep a kid off drugs.
Look, there's a moose. Where? Over there. Oh, yeah. Look, over there. I see a fish. A fish with 2 stripes.
Spend time with kids anytime, and it helps prevent crime. It's that easy.